Echo, treasure hunt. We walk slowly up the length of Carl's driveway, our shadows covering its entire length in the light of the sunset. TJ's starting to drag his feet again as we get closer to the door, and I stop to look back at him. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. You sure? We don't have to do this today, we can come by tomorrow. TJ shakes his head, taking a swig of water from a water bottle we bought at the convenience store on the way here. No, I'm just a little tired. It's been a long day. Yeah. I wait for TJ to catch up, then match his stride as we make our way up to the sidewalk and up the steps to the door. TJ doesn't do anything, instead just gripping into his water bottle, making the plastic creak. I wait another second, then reach out across TJ to press the doorbell. The faint, fancy chime emanates from behind the door for a few seconds, followed by the clopping of Carl's hooves on the wooden floor. There's a pause once he reaches the door, and I imagine him hesitating as he reaches the door handle. A second later, though, it swings open, revealing a very bleary, red-eyed ram. Carl blinks at us a few times through the bright orange sun behind us. Finally, he steps aside, opening the door wider. Hey, guys. There's a pause. I wait to see if TJ will say anything. When he doesn't, I clear my throat and step forward through the door. Hey, man. You okay? Not really. I don't say anything in return, instead spreading my arms out in the cool air of the mansion. I turn around and wait as TJ steps through the doorway, the links framed by the golden sunlight, the fine hairs of his fur lit up like white-hot wires. I see Carl's hand that's not on the door sort of twitch, like he's grabbing something in the air. Hey. TJ stands next to me, looking back at Carl. Hello. Carl rubs vigorously at his arm. Listen. Carl pauses. I get the idea he's wanting TJ to tell him that everything's okay as he doesn't have to explain anything. That would definitely make things easier. But he doesn't say anything, just watches the ram. Carl rubs behind his head for a second, looking back out the door. I'm not sure why it's so hard for him to apologise to TJ. I'd thought it was weird that Carl had apologised to me instead of the Lynx in the first place. Listen. Carl takes in a big shuddery breath, blowing it out loudly. I was really messed up earlier. I wasn't thinking right. TJ continues to watch Carl silently. His ears are up at least. Carl stutters and stumbles over a few more syllables before he continues. And I just wasn't thinking straight. He scuffs the hardwood floor loudly with a hoof. I don't think you did anything like that. I was just pissed off. TJ's quiet for a few more seconds, but Carl doesn't offer anything more. So, why were you angry? Carl sighs and leans his head back against the door, his horns knocking loudly against it. Well, you said some shit that Mass heard about, okay? It wasn't your fault. TJ folds his arms, looking down. Well, what was it I said? Carl shakes his head. Oh, stupid shit. I mean, stupid because of me. Stuff about school, car accidents. Just brought old stuff up for me. Oh. Well, I don't think you ever did anything like I said. I've just been a huge dick. Sorry. His voice breaks a little at the end and he quickly looks down on the floor, his ears down. TJ's again quiet. Thinking about changing the subject now that the apology is out of the way, but TJ speaks first. Thanks, Carl. I'm sorry I brought stuff up like that. I'll try to remember in the future. Carl shakes his head, looking back up. Oh, not your fault. We stand there awkwardly for a few more seconds. I thought maybe Flynn had been saying stuff to you, that was why you said it. Huh? Oh. Carl's non-denial hangs heavy in the air. I haven't seen Flynn in days, and I am wondering what he's been up to in that time. I'll have to ask Carl when TJ isn't around. As of now, though, I want to change the subject because things are getting awkward. So, TJ had an idea about the scavenger hunt thing. Carl looks at me just now realising I'm there. Scavenger hunt? Oh yeah, the treasure hunt. TJ scratches his arm, looking embarrassed. Sydney's treasure hunt? TJ scratches harder at his arm, looking more and more flustered, so I jump in. Yeah, we were thinking about actually doing it to maybe find some closure. Carl frowns. Really? TJ stops scratching his arm, his ears coming back up. Yeah, I believe things happen for a reason. That you found it now we're all here means something, I think. Man, I mean, it's really old. You even think any of that stuff would be out there right now? Maybe, I guess I'm not really looking to find anything. It's like a thing we can do while we remember him. I think it's a good way to find closure. I try to back TJ up into Carl's somewhat bewildered stare. The ram strokes his chin. Oh, I guess that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're okay with doing it. TJ squares his stance, looking up. I am. It's been so long feeling this way. I feel like this might be our last chance to do something. Carl looks over at me. I nod, indicating I feel the same way. I don't fully understand this new direction, TJ, either, but I sure as hell supported him. Well, okay then, I'll go grab it. You want to just open it now? Let's go to the motel or something, with Jenna there too. Okay. Carl finally shuts the door before making his way to the stairs. TJ seems to deflate then, his shoulders hunching back in. Well, that wasn't so bad. I mumble to him once I think Carl's out of earshot. Yeah, it was okay. We stand there awkwardly as we wait. The whole situation is so strange. Carl comes back with a crumpled-looking white envelope in his hands. TJ eyes it, the fur standing up on the back of his neck. So, you dudes want to drive back to the motel, or... Actually, we didn't drive. Carl drops his hands to his sides. Are you freaking serious? I can't walk in that heat. TJ did. I took up some of the fur on the lynx's neck to show Carl. TJ actually jumps a bit and I quickly let go. I want to ask him what's wrong, but Carl keeps talking. Man, I'm going to smell like shit once we get there. Well, the sun's almost gone anyway. Carl smirks at me. Oh, I sweat walking in the winter time. You can take a shower at the motel. Carl blows his breath out loudly, frowning. Okay, but I'm going to put on more deodorant before we go. The walk back isn't so bad. Carl makes it out to be a lot worse than it is with all his gasping and wiping his face constantly. TJ gets a text from Jenna to meet at the diner instead of the motel, since she's going there for dinner anyway. Once we walk in, Carl lets out a gasping groan of relief that turns a few heads. Jenna looks up from a corner booth and waves at us. I wave back and start making my way over. I'm going to the bathroom, gotta wipe my pits. TJ makes a sour face as he follows me to the table. Jenna scoots in so we can slide in next to her. So what's all this about? Carl found a treasure hunt that Sydney made. Jenna toys with her brown leather purse, staring at it. Okay, like a map or something. A letter. What are you going to do with it? Well, I look over at TJ, but he doesn't say anything, instead looking out the window at the sunset. We're thinking about doing it. You're thinking about going on the treasure hunt? Yeah. I mean... Jenna pauses, clearly trying to choose her words carefully. I mean, would there be anything left of it at this point? It'd have to be at least 11 years old by now. Jenna looks over at TJ, studying his reaction. He doesn't give her anything, though, still staring out the window. I spread my hands out on the table, instantly regretting it as I feel the grease slide around under the pads. We're seeing it more as a closure sort of thing, a send-off. We're not really expecting to find something. TJ finally looks back at us. He made it for us, so I feel we should do it. For him. Jenna stares back down at her purse. I guess Flynn won't be involved? No. And Leo? He's going to be busy for most of the week. I don't think he'd really want to anyway. Why not? Now TJ looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully. He pretends like it never happened. I don't want to bring it back up for him. No one says anything else until Carl shows back up, the fur on his head and face a little wet. Hey, Jenna. Carl. Jenna nods at him as he sits across from me. He reaches across the table, snatching up a menu from the metal holder in the centre. Well, I'll pay if anyone wants something. Jenna curls her lip in disgust, but I'm starving, so I start browsing the menu as well. TJ goes back to staring out the window and I can see his ears twitching around. So, where's this treasure hunt thing? Carl looks up and sees that Jen is staring at him. Huh? Oh, I have it. I'm going to order real quick though if Chase is ready. I nod and Carl waves his menu at Janice, who quickly bustles our way with a tray of glasses of water. She's wearing pants now. There's definitely still something off about her. Her eyes are wide, her smile more like a grimace as she sets down her glasses and straws. She takes our orders well enough though, and Jenna waits patiently as Carl and I order a meal and TJ gets a smoothie. Carl methodically tears off one end of the wrapper of his straw, where he blows on the other end, shooting the rest of the wrapper at me. I flinch and try to catch it, failing as it falls to the floor. Jenna clears her throat loudly. So, where is it? Carl looks at her, the straw still in his mouth. Huh? Oh, right. Carl reaches into his pocket, then pulls out the envelope. He pushes it onto the table, face up. There's writing in black marker on the front. Treasure hunt number 7. We all stare at it. Should I read it? Carl sets a hand down on the letter. Or someone else? Carl's eyes briefly flick over to TJ, then quickly look back down at the letter. TJ's hand comes up, then surreptitiously scratches it in the ear before letting it fall back into his lap. It does seem appropriate that TJ open it, if he doesn't want to. Carl looks just as hesitant, so I finally reach out and gently slide it out from under his hand. I can read it. No one objects, so I open it carefully, not wanting to rip anything as I pry the adhesive apart. A chill goes up my spine for some reason. A strange, surreal vision comes to my mind's eye, of inky blackness leaking out of the envelope, spilling slowly across the table. I can feel it too, like a cold draught is wafting from inside. I pause, feeling an emptiness in my chest. What the hell? I give my head a small shake, breaking out of the trance. I guess it's only natural I feel this way. That's Sydney's handwriting on a letter sealed after he licked it. He loved making these treasure hunts. It's really sad, so it makes sense that I'd feel this sudden drop in mood. I swallow as I continue to pry it open, the feeling getting worse and worse as I do. When it's finally fully open, the feeling slowly subsides. Tension in the air seems to melt away too, like the whole town just let out a sigh of relief. I look up for a moment at the others, wondering if they're feeling the same way. It's hard to tell as they're all looking intently down at my hands. I quickly look down again and stick my fingers inside, feeling the piece of paper catch on a pad. Gently, I press down on it and slowly slide it from the envelope. It's bright white copy paper folded once in half. It's been creased so long that it's starting to part at the fold, in the middle part so that the edges are barely holding it together. Black blotches bleed through the paper, probably written the same thick marker that was used for the envelope. I gently unfold it, not wanting to rip it apart more than it already has been. The big, blocky black letters are sloppy and childish. Even though it's only a few sentences, it covers the entire page. The last few words trail off into a tiny, almost illegible scrawl. It droops off down the side of the paper as Sydney realised he'd run out of room at the end. Okay, I clear my throat and start reading aloud. Welcome to treasure hunt number 7. This is the biggest one so far and it took a long time. So no cheating this time. I'm talking about you, Carl and Chase, no skipping steps. First clue. These things fly really high. It's in their home with my comb. Chase, you don't have to do this one. I know you hate it. You'll see if you figure it out. Good luck, guys. Sid. I feel my throat close up just a little as I stare down at his name. He always wanted to go by Sid, but it never stuck, so none of us ever did. It just didn't suit him. I look back at the others. Carl is still staring at the paper and TJ's looking out the window again. Jen has a hand up to her mouth, staring as well. Wow. Then she wipes at her eyes and I look away. I guess I never really thought about how this might affect Jenna. She and Sydney never really got along because of the way he treated TJ. But still, he was just a kid, like the rest of us. Carl lets out a ragged cough. That whole cheating thing was totally you, Chase, not me. I look at Carl, raising a brow. You're the one who told me to do it. Carl smirks. And you're the one that did it. What did you do? TJ asks quietly from his corner, finally looking away from the window. Well, Sydney liked to reuse certain hiding spots. I mean, there are only so many places he could use. Yeah, and Chase went straight to Sydney's mailbox and ruined the whole thing like a boss. I was like 8. Turns out it was the last spot and he got the prize. Carl makes finger quotes around the last word. Yeah, one of those plastic clapper things we used to get in elementary school for reading a lot. He was so mad. Yeah. I remember dropping it on the ground because of how lame it was. I also remember Sydney crying, but I'm not going to bring that up. Carl seemed to at least lighten the mood though, and Jenna stopped wiping her eyes. I'm starting to think TJ was right about this whole closure thing. I know what he's talking about for this one though. I tapped the paper with a finger. Yeah, it's the birdhouse. Birdhouse? Where is that? The forest. TJ sits up straighter, ears up as well. The birdhouse is on one of the trees close to the road. Oh, well, I never went in there because of all this shit. Sorry, stuff they'll get in my fur. TJ looks back out the window. The sun gone now through the clouds and the sky is still tinged red. You guys want to do it tonight? Really? It's getting kind of late and we still got to eat. Carl looks eagerly over the front counter through the small rectangle that leads to the kitchen. We can use Chase's car. Besides, it might be kind of fun in the dark. TJ adds the last bit meekly. Hell no. As long as you guys know what it is, it shouldn't be a problem. I gently fold the letter back up and start tucking it back into the envelope. What did he mean by saying you didn't have to do that one, Chase? I look up at TJ, then back down the letter as I gently press the lid of the envelope closed. I thought I saw something and got scared one time. It was a long time ago, though. At least that's what I think he was talking about. Jenna clears her throat, seemed to have collected herself. I think I remember that. My parents told me about it. I frown. Really? I didn't like the idea of that. What did you see? I shrug. The person in the trees. The hanging person. Oh. TJ shudders. So hell fucking no to go in there tonight then? Sorry for the F word, Tej. It's fine. I saw a lot of things as a kid. I'm not going to tell them how I'm definitely still scared of that place. Besides, TJ looks really eager to start this, so I'm not going to ruin it for him. But really, that's not what's bothering me right now. I look down at my hands as I try to work out a timeline in my head. When was it that incident happened in the forest? I thought I'd been 10 at the time, since that was when I'd started going to a psychiatrist. I'd started going because of that. But that would be impossible because... Here we are! A plate with a massive burger and steak fries lands in front of my face. The big coyote sets a smoothie down for TJ, and an even bigger veggie burger down for Carl. Hey Janice, is Julian working today? Janice smiles at TJ. No dear, he's only here when I'm not. He'll be in tomorrow if you're looking to find him. Okay, thanks. Janice then clutches her tray to her chest and watches us for a moment. Listen, Chase and TJ, why don't you come by my house again when you get the chance? I look up at Janice and see that she's got a strange look on her face, confused and worried looking. What's wrong, Janice? TJ's voice is full of concern. Did we do something wrong? No, you did everything wonderfully. I just want to have a talk about the way I acted the past few days. Janice lets out an exasperated sounding laugh. Not really sure what came over me, just realising how strange it all was. She glances at Carl. But we can talk about it later in person. Enjoy your dinner. She bustles off, tray still held against her body. Carl watches her go, stuffing a few fries into her mouth. What was that about? The way Janice had looked at Carl makes me think she doesn't want him knowing about what had happened. I think she just feels bad for making us work so much. I look over meaningfully at TJ. Yeah, maybe. TJ quickly starts sucking on his straw. Well, she should. Jen is sitting back in the booth, having taken out her brush to start grooming the fur on her face and head. I inconspicuously slide my plate a little further away from her. Well, once we finish, we can go get my car and head to the forest. So I lift my burger and take a bite. I look over at the counter where I see Janice leaning over a notepad. Her shoulders are shaking, and it takes me a moment to realise that she's crying. The forest is really just a patch of trees on the side of the road near Leo's house. While it's technically small, it still covers several acres, which is enough to get lost in. The sky is a soft blue now, just enough light to see by. It won't be long before that won't be the case, though. I put off to the side of the road in the spot where I think the birdhouse might be. It's been well over a decade since the last time I've seen it. This is probably where the treasure hunt is going to end, considering the time that's passed. The birdhouse probably isn't even there anymore. We all step out of the car into the warm evening air. Carl folds his arms on the hood of the car and grins at me. See, even when the sun gone it's roasting. At least you can drive me home now. Yeah. I look over at Leo's house, but his truck is gone. TJ catches my glance. I might tell him what's going on if we find something. You want him to join us. TJ picks at his claws. It's alright. I give him a quick side hug as we step up to the edge of the trees. I can see why TJ doesn't want to tell Leo about this. He was right about Leo pretending it didn't happen. I can't imagine it would go well if we told him about drudging up old Sydney scavenger hunts. So, where is it? Jenna looks into the empty ditch between us and the forest, wrinkling her nose at the old scraps of garbage inside. Well, Carl looks up and down the tree line, squinting. Kinda looks different now. I think it's about here. It's only like 10 feet in, right? Carl looks at me. That sounds about right. We can fan out and check all the trees that close to the road. TJ jumps across the ditch lightly, much more lightly than the clumsy hop I execute right after. I land unevenly on the opposite incline and windmill my arms as I lean back. Carl starts laughing before I even fall, but TJ reaches out and grabs me by the shirt, yanking me back up from the ditch. I fall into him awkwardly and quickly step back, brushing myself off even though there isn't anything on me. Are you okay? I'm fine, thanks. I glare over at Carl, who's still laughing. Did you even try, man? He leaps over easily, clearing the ditch along with a few more feet. That's not fair, I'm an otter. Well, don't let that hold you back from achieving your dreams. Jenna elects to delicately step around the garbage before climbing up the other side. It's okay, you swim better than any of us, Chase. I sigh. Thanks, TJ. I turn back to the forest, which is much darker as the light struggles to filter through the branches and leaves. Well, let's start before it gets too dark. As we spread out amongst the trees, I'm struck with how quiet it is. The only sound is the crunch of our feet on the dead vegetation, and that starts to fade as the others move further away from me. I zigzag through the trees, trying to get a look at their full circumferences. From what I remember, the birdhouse was a plain old wooden thing that hardly stood out from the trunk that it was attached to. We might not see it even if we were looking right at it. While it's been a long time, walking between these trees does bring back some memories. We stopped coming here after what had happened to Sydney, mainly because this was his favourite place to hang out. He liked to play capture the flag here. I can still remember how fast he was. I'd only catch glimpses of his tail between the forest trees before he disappeared with the flag. His team won almost every time. The summer of 2002 was the last time we played. Sydney had even been getting along better with TJ then. That might have been the best summer of my life until it happened. It was almost like Echo saw us having too much fun and wanted to end it. For good. Sydney had still been a dick, though. The image of Sydney whipping TJ mercilessly with the towel we used as the flag comes to mind. I move closer to the edge of the tree line before slanting back in again. Looking up between the branches, I see that the sky is a darker blue now. Pretty soon it'll be pitch black. It was about this light the last time I was here. I'd come alone and I was 10, maybe 9? It's hard to remember now, but I think I'd gone there because I was sad. I'd had good memories of the forest, so I thought going there might make me feel better. I was standing in the forest waiting to see if I did feel better. It didn't happen, so I'd sat down in the leaves and started crying. I was there for maybe 5 minutes before I heard some branches creaking above me. I'd looked and saw feet swinging around. This confused me, so I stood up and backed away, staring up as I slowly realised I was seeing a fox being hung by its neck. Even now I can remember the way he looked, his overalls and his white shirt. His head had been tilted down toward me, his tongue lolling out of his muzzle, his eyes blank. I can even remember what looked like pinkish red blood on the white fur of his chin. Then I tripped over a branch, and when I looked back up he was gone. I can't remember much after that except I'd gone home and told my parents. That ended up with me seeing a doctor. They never found anything wrong with me, at least anything that might relate to seeing things. In the end we were told that sometimes kids hallucinate. They would stop happening as I got older. I hugged myself, feeling cold, and a little scared, and I brought up that old memory. What I know is that at the age where kids hallucinate most often, I still can't get it out of my mind how real it had been. Still, that's not exactly what's giving me the chills right now. because I just realised that had been the summer after Sydney passed. That's why I was sad, because I remembered how happy the summer before that had been. So what Sydney wrote doesn't make any sense, unless I'm going crazy. A creak behind me makes me jump and I whirl around, eyes scanning the branches, terrified of what I might find. There's nothing there, just branches creaking in the wind. I stare for a while longer before a shout from far down a line of trees makes me jump. I found it! It's TJ's voice, high-pitched and excited. I shake myself out of my trance and start jogging towards where the lynx's voice came from. Maybe I've confused things and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. It's the only thing that makes sense. As I come up on the lynx, Carl and Jenna are already there, standing around a tree trunk. Sure enough, a little wooden birdhouse is tied to the trunk with rusty wires. I can't believe it's still here. It does look pretty beat up. Jenna points to a little wooden plug in the opening. It's closed up. Think it's been closed this whole time? I don't know, maybe. TJ pokes at the plug with a claw, then grips around the edges with all his claws before gently pulling the wooden cork-like thing out. A thick, sticky-looking trail of cobwebs follows it. We all stare into the dark hole that's revealed. Chase, want to reach in there? I'm sure there aren't any spiders. I shiver involuntarily. I don't really want to either. Jenna sighs before pushing past TJ. Bending over, she picks up a twig and sticks into the hole before swirling it around. When she pulls it back out, it's like she's made a cotton candy cone of spider webs. She drops that, then takes out a phone, turning on the flash before holding it up to the opening. Well, we all wait anxiously for her to say something. There is something here. With that, she reaches in with just her fingers. After a few crinkling sounds, she pulls out a Ziploc bag. Inside's a folded up piece of paper and a blue comb. Holy shit, no way. Well, no one ever comes back here, so I guess it makes sense. You actually put a comb in there to make it rhyme. Jenna makes a few jerking motions away from the birdhouse to get rid of the cobwebs. She looks around and sticks it out to me. Since you read the last one. Okay. I glance at TJ, but he doesn't make any indication that he might want it. The bag is covered in what looks like dirt and cobwebs. A few clumps of both dangle from the bottom. I open it carefully, and when I pull out the paper, I can tell it's been wet a few times. Still crumpled, but when I unfold it, the water damage isn't bad enough that I can't read it. Still, the paper immediately splits in two this time. I have to hold them up together as I read it. It's dark to the point where I have to have Carl hold up his phone to give me some light. Good job, but that was a little easy, right? Next we'll find out how brave you are. I know this is already a scary test for Chase, but that doesn't count. Do you really remember? Get a flashlight and make sure Leo is with you. Here it is. Stay in school, it will be cool. We'll have fun in 301. I hope you don't die. Sid. We're all quiet for a moment, and TJ giggles. I look at him, but he's covering his mouth with a hand so I can't see him smiling. That's not really a riddle, is it? I smile. I'll go easy on him, he was a kid. Sorry. So, the old school in room 301? I assume that's what he meant by a test of courage. Shit, shoot, he went in there all by himself? I won't even do that now. Yeah, that is a little weird. The feeling that something isn't right grows inside my chest. Well, we have to break the law to get in there. We'd be trespassing. Jenna glances at TJ, so we all know TJ wouldn't break the law. Besides, it's getting late. Maybe we can go check it out tomorrow. One of us can go in for you, TJ. TJ looks up at the sky where stars are starting to twinkle through the branches. Well, if we're going to trespass, we should do it at night, right? Jenna's mouth falls open. What? TJ looks flustered. I mean, we don't have all that much time left here. We should probably get as much of it done as we can. So, you're okay with breaking the law? Well, yeah, if it means we can finish this. We all stare at him. I don't know what else to say. I just really want to get this done. It feels right. We're quiet for a moment before Carl claps his hands together. Well, all right then, let's go. We've still got a few hours before I'm going to bed. Jenna sighs loudly. All right, I want to get back before 10 so I can finish my papers. Yeah, don't worry, onward. Carl marches ahead of us, taking a running leap to cross the ditch. I look at TJ, who's still looking fidgety again. Hey, we'll finish this before we have to leave, okay? TJ gives me a small smile. Okay. Carl says that the cop still patrols Echo randomly at least once a night. Because of that, we let Jenna sit out in the car and keep watch. If someone shows up, she'll text us, which should give us time to get at the back of the school. It'll still look suspicious as hell, but as long as we're not caught on the property and have some sort of excuse, we should be fine. At least that's what Carl says. We stand in front of the door and notice that a couple of chains hang loosely off the door, no lock to be found. Well, at least that hasn't changed. Carl shrugs. Teenagers break in all the time. No point in putting a lock back on every time. Carl gives the door a shove and it slides open very slowly, letting out an unearthly squeal as it does. The three of us stand there staring into the darkness. TJ fidgets next to me. Having second thoughts. No! His voice comes out in a crackly squeak that Carl snorts at. Just so dark. Nighttime has a way of doing that, my man. Good thing I charged my phone before we left. Carl takes out his phone from his pocket and holds it up before turning on the light. Mine's almost dead. We can share. Carl sweeps the light inside, revealing graffiti-covered walls and dirt-covered floors. Nice. I look back and see Jenna staring at us from the car. She gives me a thumbs up. I inhale deeply. Well, let's go. I take out my own phone and step inside, and TJ follows me. Carl stands next to us, spinning in a circle. Well, it's not that creepy. Okay, so the room's here at the 200s. TJ points up at a doorway next to us, a small label above it reading 203. So that means we have to go up one floor. Carl sweeps his light around and points to the staircase. Shall we? Those things better be stable. Carl points his light up at the staircase. I can see some graffiti up there. That's probably fine. The ram leads the way, at first tentatively setting a hoof on the first step before testing the next. Yeah, it's good. And with that he strides up the stairs, while TJ and I follow a little more hesitantly. Why don't they just demolish this place? Oh, they wanted to turn it into a museum. Can't see why though. Carl shines his light on the railing, the wood rotted and broken. Hey, do you guys remember when Chase saw someone staring out from one of the windows up here? Oh my gosh, please don't talk about this right now. Do you even remember that, Chase? Yeah, actually. That was a long time ago. I hardly remembered it, but I do remember seeing a dark form in one of the windows. I'd been positive it was just an object sitting in the room, but I wanted to tell my friend that I'd seen a ghost. It was nothing like what I saw in the trees. Thinking about it is creeping me out though. Stop! TJ whines as we reach the top of the stairs, then, clearly trying to change the subject, points up at the door. Alright, 305, so maybe this way. Chase, let me see your phone. TJ takes it from me and points it up at the next door over. Yeah, 304, so the last one down. He hands me back my phone and stands there a moment. Carl chuckles. Want me to go first? You scared? TJ glares at him. Come on guys, I want to get out of here too. Okay. Carl leads the way again, down the hall to the very end. There's more stuff in the way on this floor with a lot of desks and chairs. Carl keeps his light up, counting down the doors. 303 and 302. 30... Fuck! TJ jumps a foot in the air and I point my light at Carl. What? Carl turns around sheepishly, rubbing his hip. Ran into this stupid desk. Hurt like a mother. Really, Carl? TJ clings to me, taking a deep breath. Well, here's the door. Carl points a light back up above the door, and sure enough there's a 301 up there. TJ and I stand next to him, both staring into the dark room. Hey, I think this might actually be the room you saw the thing staring at you from. Carl. There's a warning tone in TJ's voice. I rub my chin. Actually, yeah, I think it is. TJ sighs loudly and closes his eyes. Guys, please, can we just... Yeah! Carl thrusts his hand into TJ's side as he yells, sending TJ in a hysteric fit of screaming and grabbing onto me. I stumble as I try to keep the links from rending my flesh with his claws. Oh shit, sorry, ow! Carl reaches out to, I assume, comfort TJ, gets a backhand across the face in response. You ass! I watch the two of them with wide eyes, never having seen TJ so indignant. Carl stares back, a hand up to his cheek. Whoa! Alright, let's start looking. As if nothing had happened, TJ takes my phone and strides into the room, his tail twitching in irritation. I can't believe you slapped me. Carl calls after him but gets no response. I smile, try not to laugh as I walk past the ram. Can you? He asks me, rubbing his cheek as he follows me in. Hey, you asked for it. Probably not the best time to be scaring him. Yeah, whatever. What the hell are we looking for anyway? I look around. For all I can see, there's not much left in the room. A few desks are pushed up against the wall, and aside from a chalkboard and a map at one end of the room, there's nothing else. I go over to stand by TJ at the other end of the room, looking at the desks. There's not much in here, is there? TJ sweeps the light around the room, frowning. Not really. He points the light at Carl, who's at the other end of the room by the chalkboard. Anything written on the chalkboard, Carl? Carl shines his light on the board, then gasps. What? There is. It's a whole lot of dick. Carl steps to the side, pointing his light at the board, and sure enough, it's covered in countless drawings of dicks. TJ sighs. I mean, we were bound to hit a roadblock eventually. I trail off, staring at the window at the far end of the room where I see a small-looking box on the ledge. What's that? I point and TJ shines a light over at it. Metal toolbox glints back at us. TJ immediately walks over to it and I follow him. Carl joins us as TJ fiddles with the latches, popping them open. There's a soft creak as he lifts the lid, a tray extending out as he does. And there, sitting in the tray, is another paper. There's no way. Yeah, that makes no sense. Why not? TJ gently picks up the note, handing me back my phone. Shine not on this for me, please. Someone would have taken it by now. Well, they didn't, see? TJ had unfolded it, and he shows me the handwriting, the exact same we'd seen on the other two notes. I frown, but I don't say anything more. Maybe it did just sit here for the past 10 years, no one wanting to bother with an old-looking toolbox. But this place was broken into regularly, with the whole point being either graffitiing or taking stuff. Someone definitely should have taken it by now. This was all on top of the idea that Sydney came in here as a little kid just to hide a note. Something isn't right, and I'm starting to feel uneasy. I don't have time to dwell on that, though, as TJ begins to read. On that cliffhanger, now we have to wait for Howley. That's as far as the updates go. So the next time Howley does a TJ update and it comes out publicly, I will bring out the next video with whatever happens next, because I have absolutely no clue what's going on. So until then, thanks for watching. Nusta.